everyone! Today we will be learning about probability. Probability tells us how likely something is to happen. The more likely something is to happen, the higher the probability. There are 4 words that I want you to try and learn today. Those 4 words are certain, likely, unlikely, and impossible. In maths, things are almost always certain, like 2 plus 2 is certain to equal 4, and 3 times 3 is certain to equal 9. But in the real world, things aren't always so certain. I'll show you what I mean with this coin. If I flip this coin, who knows what side it will land on, heads or tails? Nobody. The result is always unpredictable. We don't know what side this coin will land on, but we do know a few things about the coin. We know that heads is just as likely to land as tails because the sides are the same. Since there are 2 sides to this coin, if I flip this coin lots and lots of times, we can expect that half of the lands will be on heads and half of the lands will be on tails. And this means that the probability of landing on heads is 1/2 and the probability of landing on tails is also 1/2. I'm going to show you this new thing called a probability line. A probability line has a 0 on one side and 1 on the other side. 0 means impossible and 1 means certain. A probability of half, like our coin toss, means something is just as likely to happen as it is to not happen. Anything with a probability of more than half means it is likely, and anything with a probability of less than half means it is unlikely. So we have impossible, unlikely, likely, and certain. Let's have a look at another example. I'm sure you've all seen a dice before, and you probably know it has 6 sides, all of the exact same size. Because of this, if we roll the dice, we have an equal chance of rolling all the numbers. It is just as likely to roll a 2 as it is to roll a 6. The tricky part is, since there are 6 sides, that means there are 6 different possibilities. Whereas with our coin, there was only 2 sides, so there was 2 different possibilities. 1/6 is the same as 0.167 or 16.7%, and it would be about right here on the probability line. Do you remember what we learned about anything with a probability of less than half? That's right, we learned that anything with a probability of less than half means it's unlikely. This means that if we roll a dice, it is unlikely that it will land on a particular number, like a 4 or a 1. So now we know that the probability of landing heads is 1/2, and the probability of landing tails is 1/2, and the probability of rolling a 4 is 1/6, and the probability of rolling a 6 is 1/6, just like all the other numbers. But if we add up 1/2 and 1/2, we get 2 halves, or 1. And if we add up 1/6 and 1/6 and 1/6 all the way to 6 sixes, that also equals 1. This means that if we add up all the possibilities, it should equal 1, or 100%. And that is the same as saying it is certain we will always get an answer. Let's look at another example. Let's use this spinner. This spinner has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. If the spinner has 6 sides, then it has the same probability as the dice. So let's add some more sides. So now we have 16 different possibilities on the spinner. So what is the probability of landing on 12? Just like the dice, our answer was 1 over 6 possibilities. But how many possibilities are on this spinner? That's right, 16. So our new answer will be 1 over 16, or 6% or 0.06, which is about here on our probability line. As you can see, it is less likely that we would land on 12 than if we were to roll a 3 or a 4 or a 5 on the dice. That makes sense because there are more possibilities with our spinner. But what if we colour 5 of the sections blue and 11 of the sections purple? What is the chance that we will land on a blue? In our previous 2 examples, we've had 1/2 and 1/6. Both of those first numbers are 1. But now we have 5 different chances to land on blue, so our first number will now be 5. But there are still 16 different options, so our bottom number will still be 16. This means that the probability of landing on blue is 5 out of 16, which is about here on our probability line. 5 out of 16 is also the same as 0.31 or 31%. As you can see, 5 out of 16 is still in the unlikely section, so it's still unlikely that we land on a blue, which makes sense because there are more purples than blues. but it is more likely that we will land on a blue on our spinner than roll a certain number on our dice, like this here. That is because 5 out of 16 is more than 1 out of 6. This method works for every probability that you can think of. There's a trick to it as well. The trick is the top number is the number of all the correct outcomes, and the bottom number is the total number of all of your possibilities. Okay, I have a bag here of 11 pom-poms. The same bag is on the board. We have 7 yellow pom-poms, 3 green pom-poms, and 1 pink pom-pom. What is the probability of me pulling out a green pom-pom? Let's have a look at our trick. The top number is the number of correct outcomes. There are 3 green pom-poms, so there will be 3 on our top number. The bottom number is the total number of all the possibilities. We have 11 possibilities, so our bottom number will be 11. The total probability of pulling out a green pom-pom is 3 out of 11. This is unlikely because there are only 3 green pom-poms. Let's do the same thing again, but this time for a yellow pom-pom. What is the probability of me pulling out a yellow pom-pom? Well, we know there are 7 yellow pom-poms, so our top number will be 7. But in all the pom-poms total, there is 11, so we'll put 11 at the bottom. This means that there are 7 out of 11 probability of me pulling out a yellow pom-pom. This is more likely since there are more yellows than greens. What about the probability of pulling out the pink pom-pom? There is only 1 pink pom-pom, so we're going to write 1 on the top. But there is still 11 total pom-poms, so 11 will be on the bottom. This means the probability of pulling out a pink pom-pom is 1 out of 11. Not very likely. And if we add up all of these probabilities, we get 11 out of 11, or 1, or 100%, just like the others. You did great! Can you remember what our trick is to find the probability of anything you like? The top number is the number of all the correct outcomes, and the bottom number is the total number of all the possibilities. We also learned about the probability line today. We learned that 0 is impossible, 1 is certain, anything less than half is unlikely, and anything more than half is likely. The best way to remember all of this information is with practice. So practice with your own probabilities and become a probability pro. Thanks for watching.